MBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com.
Local news, local topics, local conversation. You're listening to AM Beaver County on 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and 1460 WMBA. Presented by St. Barnabas and streaming live at BeaverCountyRadio.com.
And we're back on AM Beaver County on this Thursday morning, and now I'm joined in studio by Mr. Tyrone Zeigler. Tyrone, good morning to you once again.
Good morning, Matt.
So last time we talked about the feasibility study meeting that was set to take place. That meeting has gone and passed. And how did that go? What was the attendance like? What were some of the words exchanged? How did that all go?
Attendance-wise, it wasn't what I expected. But we still move forward with the process, so I'm happy about that.
Okay. So when you say it wasn't like you expected, not enough people, or
yeah, it wasn't enough people, but like I said, we're still able to move forward with the process, so
well,
I'm
that's
satisfied
good.
with that.
Yeah, because I mean, this is at the end of the day. I mean, even though this is a project for the city and a project, to help revitalize the youth and give them something to do, because we've had. I've talked to mayors throughout the county over the course, whether it be Aliquippa or Ambridge or Rochester or Beaver Falls, and they've all said the same thing. We need something for the kids to do. We need things for the kids to do, and this would be a part of that. But at the end of the day, it is your project, so it sort of moves forward with you.
Yes.
So that took place, and there was also a letter that has surfaced, and that letter was brought up at the last city council meeting. What was that all about?
It is Tigerland Inc.'s tax exempt status. The IRS approved us last month.
Very nice, very nice. So you guys, and that was one of the big hurdles, right? That was one of the biggest hurdles to get that tax exempt status, so that you could move forward with this project.
Yes. When it comes to getting any federal or private funding, for the project, yes.
And that is good news, because it seemed like if that didn't happen, then they would have, provided at the very least a much bigger issue to move forward with. If it could have moved forward at that point, or would that have been the?
We could have moved forward, but it would have made things a little complicated. Right.
It would have made things a lot more complicated. And so one thing I did want to ask you, because, and then this is from a practical standpoint, of course, we can talk about the nature of, things needing to happen in the community and things needing to happen as far as, the legality and the like you said, the tax exempt status of it all. One of my thoughts earlier this week, whenever we were seeing snow in the sky, was that how, for anyone involved, whether it be someone like you or somebody like Tony Caltori from Parks and Rec, what do you think whenever you're thinking, we're in springtime now, technically we're in spring, and then stuff like this happens? Does that sort of, make you think, maybe this is, a lot harder than I thought it was going to be?
No, not really. I mean, we're in Pennsylvania. You have to expect the weather to be the way it is. So,
I'm
not really worried about it.
Now, do you have any plans? Because again, it's the last time the pool was open was all the way back in 2002, I believe, or 2000. Yeah, I think it was 2002.
It's been close for 20 years.
20 years, yeah. So, since then we've gotten some, technological advancement. Would there be the possibility of there being sort of a, and this is my curiosity here, a hybrid pool where, on days where it may be a little gloomy or perhaps rain goes outside, there's a chance for a little cover to go ahead, or is this going to be an outdoor pool straight out like it was before?
As of right now, I don't even know. That's definitely a possibility.
Okay.
We're not even at that stage yet, but once we get closer to that stage, we'll explore other avenues for the pool.
Well, what stage would you consider yourself to be at right at this point? Like, what's the next immediate step for this process?
Trying to gain for Tigerland to try to gain ownership of the property so we can continue construction.
Okay, so and that's where the tax exempt status was a big hurdle, because that would allow for this to be the case.
Yeah, when it comes to the nonprofit actually gaining ownership of the property, because that was, the city was trying to figure out if they can give it to a nonprofit. So,
okay. and now that you guys are a nonprofit, then now it's simply the matter of getting control of the property, and
Yes, sir.
and at that point it'll be a matter of getting it up and running and starting to do the renovations on it.
Yes.
As far as that process, because again, I know we're still a ways from it, but when that time does come where it'll be finally time to put shovel to ground, paint to brush.
Mm-hmm.
What's the plan there? Is there a group of people that you have ready to do this, or are you looking for volunteers? And if so, how can they reach out to you?
I have volunteers. Plus, I plan on reaching out to some people.
Okay.
More volunteers. When that time comes, I'll make an announcement, and people can pretty much reach out to me on my personal page or on the Wave Pool page or Tigerland Inc. page also.
Right, and then there's all three of those are on Facebook for those who want to reach out to you.
Yes, sir.
Again, that's Tigerland Inc., Tigerland Wave Pool, and of course your personal page. How, as far as I know you may not have an answer for this, so if you don't, that's perfectly fine. But as far as a timeline, do you see this happening sometime this summer, or is there not a concrete answer at this point?
There's no concrete answer at this point. Like I said before, this is just a process, so I'm just trying to get through these different stages.
Right, and that's understandable. But again, if the people want to help out, because again, we'll get to that stage at some point. We'll get to the stage of putting this in the renovations occurring.
Yeah,
but
we'll get there.
But as far as helping out now with this process going on, is there a way that people can help out now?
As of right now, no. I just need people to just keep being patient. I don't need any help right now. But when the time comes, I'll definitely reach out and give an update on that.
Understood. We're talking with Tyrone Zeigler. He is the man leading the project for the Tigerland Wave Pool in Beaver Falls. And we're getting the latest updates about that. We'll continue talking about that on the other side of this break here on AM Beaver County.
April is oftentimes the month when it's common to feel uncomfortable, and it has nothing to do with tax deadlines. That's because April has some of the biggest temperature swings of any time of the year, and an older or ineffective home comfort system may struggle to keep you comfortable when it can be freezing overnight, then in the 80s the next day. If you felt a little uncomfortable lately and don't have tax issues, then it must be your furnace or air conditioning system. Call Beaver Valley Sheet Metal at 724-775-7300 and put yourself at ease. Click BBSM, the number 1, to find out more about how easy it can be to repair, upgrade, and even replace your equipment, keeping you warm and keeping you cool, and doing both sometimes in the same day. At this time of year, it's BBSM Heating and Air Conditioning, PA number 3285.
Computers and internet searches can be very helpful for discovering information, but not always when it comes to researching medical conditions and finding help. Dale Reckless from MRS Physical Therapy recently discussed this topic in a radio interview.
A lot of patients come in and they say, well, I Googled this and it didn't really help. Well, I understand, we Google things and we want to get information, but Google's not going to assess you personally. Google's going to give you an overall possibility of what could be going on with you, but you really need the eyes of the professional and the hands-on, the professional like what we have at MRS Physical Therapy to steer you in the right direction for what exercises should help you out. And then you're going to be getting the hands-on skills that we provide to help work on your soft tissue, to help relax the muscles, to help make it feel better.
If you need physical therapy for any reason, choose the place that your friends and neighbors do. MRS Physical Therapy in Bridgewater and Cranberry Physical Therapy in Cranberry. Visit mrsphysicaltherapy.com.
Check out Beaver County's free online source for news, sports scores, and more. BeaverCountyRadio.com.
And we're back on AM Beaver County on this Thursday morning. And we're also on Facebook Live right now as we're talking with Tyrone Zeigler, the man behind the Tigerland Wave Pool Project and Tigerland LLC. Now, we mentioned at the top of our conversation about how, the attendance at the feasibility study meeting wasn't quite what it was, but at the same time, you are moving forward with the project. A lot of that does have to come at the hands of, the members of council and the members of the city who have helped you along the way, has it not?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and they've been very instrumental in helping things out because, again, they're looking to, revitalize the city in any way they can, whether, from top to bottom, because Beaver Falls, it's not just, 7th Avenue downtown. That's it. It's all the avenues, all the streets, and all the certain places like West Mayfield and up near Walsh Run, where the Tiger Pool was, and shall be again at some point.
Right.
So at this point, too, we mentioned patience, and we mentioned the patience of, everyone involved and everyone getting to a certain point. And are there moments where it seems like the patience is starting to, sort of wane a little bit, or are there moments where it seems like, the waiting game seems a little bit, more unnecessary than it has to be?
Sometimes, but it's God's plan. Can't rush this. You know what I mean? Especially when it came to my life, changing my life around. I mean, that was a process in itself.
True.
So,
and when you go through all of that, what's patience on a situation like this? Because if you can go through that, then
right, because changing my life around was huge.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely was.
So going from that to this, it's the challenges here, though they may be frustrating, are nothing compared to what they were at one point. And,
yeah.
And again, it is something that we've talked about this with others before too on AM Beaver County, is the idea of sort of what brings. I was just talking a couple of weeks ago to Tammy and Denise from the BFBDA, the district authority, the business district authority, and they were talking about bringing new businesses in and bringing new projects in. And as someone on your end who's doing that, someone who's sort of creating their own new thing for the city, creating their own new thing, and even though it is based on what was here before, if you were to give someone advice on going forward with something, whether it be a store or a place of gathering or whatever it is they would be in the city of Beaver Falls or anywhere in Beaver County, what would be the advice that you would give them in the steps to get to that process?
No matter how hard it gets, don't give up. That's the only thing I can say. Don't give up, because there's going to be times that you want to give up, and just don't give up.
Don't
seriously, man.
Don't give up. Be persistent.
Just be persistent. Stay determined. Keep your faith, and don't give up.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the big part of it, because without faith, without this, inner drive to keep going no matter what, then that matter what's going to come along, and it's gonna trip you up.
Right.
And again, you've been through so much as far as trying to. I mean, just this project alone, the Tigerland Wave Pool. I mean, that itself has been a multi-year process that has gone through many leaps and bounds.
Yeah, because we're going on 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, so I've been through a lot.
Yeah, wow. And then again, that right there is an example too, because some places after 2 or 3 years, they just decide, well, this isn't for me. This was not my best moment or best idea. But in your case, it's like, no, this is something.
This is for me. This is what I want to do. This is for the community, and I'm not going to stop. So
right, and it is for the community. It is for everyone involved, and it's just a great thing too, because again, even though some may wonder why bring this back, and again, the answer has been there. It's something for the community. It's a way for the community to gather and sort of have this thing that's where families from all across the county and through all across Beaver Falls and all the different areas can gather and say, what, this is something that, especially for, folks in our generation, we grew up with that pool.
Right.
And, the kids growing up today, they didn't. And so they're getting to experience something new. And, kids down the line are going to get to experience something that's on that same level. And that, of course, has to be, super important to you for someone who, has seen this town go through many different varieties of ups and downs over the course of the last couple of decades.
Right.
So, yeah, it's all a very good thing. And if someone wants to reach out to you and be a part of this, whether they want to give your support or have any questions or lend their hand when the time comes along, how can they reach out to you?
Like I said, they can reach out to me on my personal page. They can reach out to me on the Tigerland Wave Pool page or the Tigerland Inc. page.
And again, those are all on Facebook. We'll have the links up to those later on this morning in our follow-up post at beavercountyradio.com. And again, the key here is a matter of, persistence and inner drive, because at this point, there's a lot of things, and that would be the process with anything, whether it's, nonprofit, profit, business, recreation, whatever, that are going to be out of the, leader's hands. And in this case, it's a matter of, maintaining that property and getting that. And then when that happens, then, things will sort of be back in your control. But, you got to wait for that a little bit.
Have to wait. It's all a process.
All a process. So, well, Tyrone, I thank you for stopping by this morning to talk about that. And again,
thank you for having me.
We'll keep you in touch as far as updates on the wave pool, because again, it's part of Beaver Falls' history, and it could be part of its future as well. So, thank you, Tyrone, and again,
thank you.
Blessings to you in the process.
You too, sir.
You're listening to AM Beaver County. It is currently 8:51, and we'll take another time out and come back with the weather.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or